It's another great day in England.
As usual.
As usual. We are out and about with the Tamron 90mm f2.8 Macro Lens.
Macro!
We've done quite a bit of macro recently.
Do you love macro baking?
I do. I'm here for the macro. So we're going to be testing this out today, seeing how it looks, and we're going to be comparing it with my trusty 105 f2.8.
Which got poop on it.
Which Con just dropped, so let's see how that
Some
goes.
caca de vaca. Okay.
Traditionally, 90mm is not a focal length that we've had in the Nikon range. Nikon have usually done 55 and 105 or 60 and 105. They also did a 200mm, as many of you will know, and I'm hoping that that will come at some point in the future. However, 90 is a nice in-between, between the 60 and the 105, and a little bit more versatile, I would say, than a 105, because you can shoot larger subjects close up. You've got just a wider field of view. The 105 tends to be used more for insects and more skittish subjects, whereas the 90mm I'd say is a happy medium. Unfortunately, it's too cold to see much insect life at the moment. Nothing fast moving comes out in the winter, so fine. We won't be taking any pictures of bees or butterflies in flight, but I will be testing it out on lots of fungi when I can find it. So if you want to have a look at the closest focusing distance, I'm using the moss as a backdrop for me. I haven't found anything particular, but let's have a look. So yeah, about there, yeah. So I would say when you look at the shot, you can see how close you can get. 1-to-1 reproduction. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
23 centimeters according to spec sheet.
Right. Sometimes 23 centimeters on paper and in reality feel like two slightly different things, you know. It's a very nice macro lens. I'm going to compare it with the 105 in a minute, but just taking out, sort of blind testing it without comparing it with anything else. Does a nice job, focuses nice and close. Focusing at times is it struggles to know exactly what I want to focus on, but that's fine. Again, very used to that. The Nikon macros do the same thing. I'm finding the bokeh really, really pleasing, and sharpness wise, so far no complaints at all. So I think focal length wise, this is, as I said before, it's a bit more versatile than a 105 and a 50 separately, because it sort of sits almost in the middle of those two, and that's unusual for Nikon macros. You don't get that. So I think that for people who maybe don't know which of those focal lengths they want, or perhaps they don't want something quite as long as a 105 for macro, then this is a really good choice.
Oh hi, I'm also in this video walking slowly towards the lens. But let's talk about technical specifications of the 90mm Tamron. Well, first of all, it's 90mm focal distance, it's f2.8, it's got 12 diaphragm blades. Construction wise, full metal mount, USB port, by a little cap for it, but it should be weather sealed really. Little function button which you can assign, and also a little switch for focusing. So you've got full AF area, so from minimum focusing distance to infinity. Then you've got basically close up to 70 centimeters, and somewhere in between from 70 to infinity as well. So all those features are available, and optically it's got 15 elements and 12 groups. Now weight-wise, it's 640 grams, so not exactly a light lens, but actually on camera like Nikon Z, it feels pretty good. It's what, about set up about 1.3 kilograms? It's manageable if you have a strap.
And only if you have a strap, otherwise
without a strap,
just,
look, I'm struggling here, you know. I just can't do anything.
Good.
There's a little floating leaf I found, just hanging in the air, levitating. So I'm going to try to take a picture of it. It looks sharp.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's not bad. Okay, what did you find this time, Becky?
I've just got some blackberries which are not ripe, but I just wanted to do a sort of bit of a depth of field test, really. It's remarkably sharp wide open, I will say. At 3.5, which is the widest it will go, it is very, very sharp. I have absolutely no complaints about that. That's really good. Now, the other thing you can do with this lens is you can set a limit. So you can have the full focus range, which will be from the 23 centimeters to infinity, or you can limit it so that if you know your subject is further away than 70 centimeters, you put it onto the limiter mode, and then you have a 70 centimeters to whatever focusing distance you've set using your recall button, which is very smart. So you've got three options there. With the Nikon lens, you've essentially got a limit and full, but the limit is about 1.5 meters to the closest focusing distance rather than going from a mid-range to infinity. So Nikon have put it the other way around, which I personally prefer.
So at this moment, Becky is photographing an invisible thing on this camera, but it's actually, there's a tiny spider web with a little drops in there.
Look at all the bubbles.
Yeah, that's nice.
That is nice. All right, let's take a look at that with the other lens. So that's with the 105. It's not a huge amount of difference in terms of framing, but there is a slight difference.
Sharpness-wise?
Sharpness-wise, so, and when we're talking, I'm taking a picture of gossamer fine threads. I mean, you can almost not see what they are with the naked eye. So both of them very sharp.
So which one is 90? This one, this is
90.
This is 90, okay.
Look at all the bokeh bubbles.
Yeah.
Okay, look at the 105, bokeh bubbles, but much softer.
Much softer, actually. I prefer the bokeh on the Nikon lens, I think. Yeah.
It's more subtle, I would say. Whereas the bokeh on the 90mm is a bit more, almost feels like it's exaggerated.
Yeah, it's got a nice character to it, but I think
nice.
for this particular shot, the 105 bokeh works better.
Yeah, how interesting. Okay.
It is interesting, Becky, I agree. All right, so we've explored the woods. We didn't find any mushrooms.
We found one mushroom.
One mushroom and lots of snails. Now, what are your thoughts on this lens, Becky?
Okay, so I would say if you've not already got a macro lens, if you haven't got a 50 or a 105 and you're wondering what lens to choose, this is a great contender. The focal length is a bit more versatile. Obviously, if you want to get a bit closer to your subject and as being as close as possible is important to you, then it's got to be the 105 or potentially one of the other non-Nikon branded longer macro lenses. But this is, how much?
£599, so it's quite a saving over the price of 105 lens. So I think for
like half the cost.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if you're price conscious, I think this is a really good choice and it's a really good value.
I think we're all price conscious, to be honest. I don't know anyone that isn't price conscious.
In this economy.
Am I right? So if you're looking for something that is 1-to-1 reproduction ratio that will get you everything from, you know, your flower shots to your close detail shots to, let's say you're a wedding photographer and you want a macro so that you can do those lovely close-ups, the rings, the
I don't have a ring, but I was just showing that it's supposed to have imaginary ring.
That's right. The rings, the dress details, etc. Then, you know, a 90mm is a great option for that because you don't need to spend £1,000 on a 105. Saying that, I have had the 105 macro for, well, pretty much since it came out, and it is one of my favorite macro lenses that I've ever owned. Its focusing is very, very decent. I will say that the manual focusing is feels a bit more traditional on this lens, whereas on the Nikon it's that focus by wire, so it goes in sort of, it feels more electronic. Does that make sense? I have both the 50 macro and the 105, and I feel like this is, although as I said, not halfway between, this is a happy medium between them. So
you can't have too many macro lenses. Apparently, I don't know, but
if you shoot macro, you can't have too many macro lenses. However, I'd say if you already have the 105, you don't necessarily need to look at this one. If you've currently got the 50mm macro and you're looking for something longer, this is a really nice idea because it is cheaper and it will get you most of the way there.
oh hi, I'm still in this video, so if you liked it, give us a like and subscribe.
And there's a super thanks as well if you're feeling like it. We hope you enjoyed this video, and if you'd like to see us do more macro,
don't call me, call Becky.
Let us know in the comments below.
Yes.
Look at all these spider webs, they're like so exciting.
We finished the video, Becky. You
I'm
can relax.
easily pleased, what can I say? I was watching this skit that was like, what it's like to live in Wales, and it's like, oh, bore da, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, is the family all right? Yeah, the family's all right. And you and your family, how are they? Oh, yeah, they're all right. Oh, that's lovely. And you're right. Yeah, I'm all right. Well, it's been lovely seeing you. You too. Bye. I thought, it's so accurate.